Hey, my handsome ladies and gentlemen, this is Shmeaty. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. We're going to be taking a look today at a pretty interesting Pokemon in the Love Cup, and that's one that I myself have gone on record and said doesn't have much play outside of the Willpower Cup, and that is Poniard. Poniard's a very interesting pick because its ability to shut down what should be well recognized as the best Pokemon in the Cup, Galarian Slowbro, as well as pretty neutral matchups across the board, provided you're not aligned onto a Talonflame, a Scrafty, or a Crocodile, which by the way is a triple core breaker for this team, so if we see one of those we're going to be in trouble, but provided you can avoid those matchups and just play Poniard neutrally, up energy, you're going to be in a good spot. And in game number 1, we're going to see just how devastating Poniard can be as it leads into Lickilicky, one of the most prominent Pokemon in this meta. We're going to fire off a Night Slash immediately, just on good timing, one to preserve the good timing of course. Lickilicky is going to fire off a move, and they are at 5 here. However, Lickilicky Bait Syndrome fired off the Body Slam. Body Slam not going to be doing nearly enough damage to our Poniard, so Poniard's going to be able to get away with getting off another X-Scissor here. And this damage is massively starting to add up into one of the bulkiest top meta threats in the entire league. We're going to no-shield again. It's a Body Slam once again, and now Poniard's in a pretty good position here. I can decide to shield this, I can decide to not. If I don't shield it though, I'm going to be in a pretty bad spot because I'm in a really low health range where I could come in and get sniped by pretty much anything in the meta. But I'm able to force a shield off of the Lickilicky, and I'm just going to bring in Skeledirge. Skeledirge gets one Incinerate. The opposing trainer is going to bring in their Alomomola. They see my Galarian Slowbro up a shield and do not want any of the smoke. GG's. In the next game, it's going to be Poniard leading into a Bruxish, and I was really expecting it to be Confusion, and that I was just going to be in an immensely good spot, but it is going to be on Water Gun. Water Gun's slightly more awkward. However, they let the Night Slash go, and Poniard is going to be able to take whatever damage this is, because this is at max going to be an Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail will get a slow, but not quite low enough, and they just get fully farmed down. Now, I don't really understand the play of no shielding a Bruxish, but it is what it is. They're going to switch into their Skeledirge, and it's going to be swiftly met with our Galarian Slowbro. Slowbro is going to bait out the third Pokemon, which is going to be Miltank. Miltank is going to take a Scald and take a lot of damage from a Scald. And now we're going to no-shield whatever this is because G-Bro's in a pretty good spot. We can live anything they throw here. It's going to be a Body Slam. And now they're going to double up on that Body Slam. That's perfectly okay because all I really care about here is getting off Brutal Swing here just so that I can chip the Miltank into a range where my Skeledirge can come in and just farm it down for free. And now that's exactly what we're looking to do. They're going to bring in their Skeledirge, and now it is a Skeledirge bait matchup. What is going to happen here? I'm calling the bait. I'm not shielding, disrespecting the opposing Skeledirge, and now I'm going to play this even riskier, full sending my Shadow Ball into the opposing Skeledirge. They're going to no-shield it. It was their only win con. GG's to this trainer. Getting into the next game, Poniard leads into a Wormadam Trash. And Wormadam Trash is pretty interesting for Poniard. Some of them are still on Confusion, as is this one. And if they're on Confusion, you're in a really good spot to just stay in, chip with the Night Slash, and then look to pivot out later. And now, we're going to fire off the Night Slash onto the Wormadam. Does a sizable amount of damage. These Confusions not doing much of anything at all, provided the fact that they are triple resisted, that does track. Nevertheless, we're going to fire off this Night Slash and switch into our Skeledirge and catch what can only be a Bug Buzz, because you're not going to bait the Poniard with an Iron Head Bug Buzz. Double resisted, and now they're going to bring in their Alomomola there. And Alomomola is pretty awkward, obviously, into our Skeledirge, but we're able to bait this out. Poniard doesn't have a necessarily good time here in even energy. So we're going to get fully farmed down there. I think I could have tapped the Disarming Voice there, but we're just short of it. So we are now probably just going to bring in Slowbro. The problem with Poniard is it's very susceptible to fast move pressure. If the fast move pressure that it's encountering is not resisted, like Confusion, then you're going to be in a horrendous spot because the fast move pressure in this cup is very real. We're going to fire off a Brutal Swing onto the Alomomola, just looking to chip this down, firing off another Brutal Swing. Not really much to talk about here, just trying to eat through this Alomomola. This Pokemon, I honestly think, hot take. Love Cup hot take, I know. But Alomomola is such a degen Pokemon, dude. They're going to fire off the Hydro Pump. It's all in the hands of our Poniard, and it seems like they are not prepared for it because it's going to be a Galarian Slowbro coming in, and this is a problem for them. Up 2 shields, the Poniard is going to absolutely cook here. And now I'm tasked with a decision here. I'm not up 2 shields. I'm actually only in the even shield scenario. We call the brutal swing, and now that is absolutely massive. I'm going to fire off this Night Slash right before they're able to make their next brutal swing to force them to either give up their last shield or their G-Bro. They're going to preserve the G-Bro, and from this range, I'm pretty sure I can just completely farm this G-Bro down. We're going to look for it, looking for that farm down, trying to decide against it. In comes the Wormadam Trash. I unfortunately throw an alignment, giving them the opportunity to catch on Worm Trash, but Worm Trash does not have any residual energy, so it's going to get completely farmed down, and no fast move pressure for them means that they're not getting me any closer to range where they can farm me down with poison jabs. Now, it's going to be a Night Slash landing onto the Galarian Slowbro G-Bro. Gonna get taken out by the Night Slash. In comes the Alomomola, but we're able to make a last second move, and Alomomola is going to get taken out. A complete Poniard 1v3. In the next game, pretty interesting lead, Poniard into a Medicham, and you're gonna see me do something a little crazy. I'm gonna fast move check, and now that I see that it's on Psycho Cut, I'm just gonna stay in and continue to farm with the Poniard. I'm gonna build up to their Dynamic Punch, switch into the Skeledirge, hoping to catch it, and unfortunately, they are going to counter me with a Lickitung. What season is this? For those of you that don't know, a couple seasons ago, this was actually super common because Skeledirge was very good in Open Great League, and Lickitung, of course, was top meta. However, they're going to fire off a Power Whip. Those times have long since passed. We're going to build up to the back-to-back Disarming Voices here, and back-to-back Disarming Voices should either KO the Lickitung straight up, or make them give up a shield. Unfortunately, I get very greedy and go for an Incinerate farm down at a range that I really should have recognized that I was not going to get it. We're going to bring in the Poniard, and the reason for bringing in the Poniard here is because Lickitung has a lot of HP and defense, so I can get more farm overall with the Poniard and the Fury Cutters as opposed to getting like one poison jab with the Slowbro. So that's my rationale there. They're going to bring in the Medicham. Medicham is going to be hit with a Night Slash, and now we're going to pivot out into our G-Bro, as G-Bro realistically doesn't have very many counters in this meta, unless it's like a Mudslap Crocodile. Nevertheless, they're going to fire off a move onto the G-Bro, and at this point I'm just recognizing I really don't need the G-Bro, but I am going to be able to make a last-second Brutal Swing here, and Jardigon is in an immensely painful spot. They have to no-shield because they're going to go down 2 shields otherwise, and now Poniard comes in for the Fury Cutter farm down. With the energy lead that we have and a 2-shield advantage, we can easily KO this Medicham. I'm going to shield up. There's really no reason for me to risk no shielding a Dynamic Punch. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about going for the style points, but I've lost many games for that reason. We're going to go for the X-Scissor, build up to another X-Scissor, and now this X-Scissor is just easily going to KO the Medicham. There is no hope of them living this move. Down goes Medicham. GG's. Getting into the next game, it's going to be Poniard, now leading into a Crustle. Very interesting pick by the opposing trainer here. This is not necessarily the best spot for us. I'm going to build up well past the X-Scissor, and I'm realistically looking to bait an Iron Head. They're going to fire off their X-Scissor, does massive damage to my Poniard. I'm going to bait with a Night Slash. An Iron Head here would do an absolutely metric ton of damage to the Crustle. Crustle is going to shield it up. We're looking to catch their X-Scissor here, and I think we may have just gotten it. Are we going to get the Night Slash catch? Or the X-Scissor catch, I should say. X-Scissor double resisted onto the Crocodile. Skeledirge is now farming away as a Miltank will enter the field of play. Unfortunately, though, I am going to get Cycle Reset here. Cycle Resetting is basically the concept of the fact that I've now hit 100 energy, so I can no longer throw an Incinerate for good timing. I'd probably get farmed down if I went for it anyway. I'm going to go for the double Disarming Voice here. Double Disarming Voice, not going to be enough to KO the Miltank, but does put us in a position where Poniard can come back in for a farm down, or we can take the farm on the Galarian Slowbro. This is probably enough for a Thunderbolt, but honestly, I'm okay with taking the Thunderbolt, and it's just going to be a Body Slam, so even better for us. Now, if they bring back in the Crustle, we're in a pretty bad position, as we don't have much of any fast move pressure into the Crustle. Crustle's going to fire off an X-Scissor. An X-Scissor would do a massive amount of damage to our Galarian Slowbro, so we're kind of hoping that we can make the back-to-back moves here. They're going to bring in a triple Legacy Seaking, and Seaking is going to be tasked with Poison Jab farming down a Poniard while it's double resisted. I'm looking for another Night Slash. We're able to get the back-to-back Night Slashes off, and this is going to be a very close game. Night Slash is going to grab the shield from the Legacy Seaking, and now we're going to tap our Brutal Swing button, and I kind of have to shield here. Unfortunately, it's an Icy Wind bait, and I think that immediately loses me this game. This Brutal Swing is now not going to KO the Seaking, I should say. In comes the Crustle. This game is rapidly falling out of my favor. I'm going for the farm down of the Crustle, but I undercharged just too much, and they're able to make the X Scissor. That was very well played by the opponent. GG's. Into the next game, it's going to be Poniard now leading into a Bruxis, and oh, I hope this Bruxis is on Confusion. I want every Bruxis player to feel the pain of this Bruxis player. Oh my goodness. Now, X Scissor, I believe, does more damage neutrally here. We're going to fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash is going to do a massive amount of damage if they decide to no-shield here. They can most likely go for an Aqua Tail here, but I'm not really afraid of that because look at how much damage they've done to me. They're not going to Confusion me down. They'd have to go for another one. And now they're going to bring in a Scrafty. It's a Snarl Scrafty, and they throw on alignment. Mistiming there is absolutely crucial. They fire off the Foul Play, but I am not in Snarl down range, so I can very comfortably shield up this move. And now, two Snarls still aren't going to KO, so I'm going to get off two Disarming Voices, and the Scrafty's either going to have to just let itself go, or give up a shield and then die trying. So unfortunately, they try to maybe snarl me down, hoping that last snarl would KO. But I live it on 1 HP. Skeledirge is an absolute demon in this meta. They're going to bring in an Alomomola, but I'm so happy to see it in this situation because Galarian Slowbro up a shield into Alomomola is very, very comfortable for the Galarian Slowbro. G-Bro comes in, firing off the Brutal Swing here on Disciplined Timing, firing off the move after 7 Poison Jabs, and now the Alomomola has a move. I realistically don't think that there's any win con here, so I'm going to no-shield, and now they're going to bring in the Bruxis, but we have the move loaded on the Poniard, and Poniard easily taken out the Bruxis because they were one Confusion away. We get the boost. They don't want to see that. GG's. Next game, it's now going to be Poniard leading into an Ariados. This is a pretty interesting lead because although you may think that Poniard's in a really good spot up against the Ariados that's only firing off resisted to neutral energy here, the 2 Night Slashes that we get are not going to KO, especially not after a lunge debuff. So we're going to throw 1 Fury Cutter there, make them think that we're going to stay in, then switch into the Skeledirge. And since they threw a move, that Incinerate did land on the Ariados. However, that Incinerate landed debuffed. Because the lunge debuff will be applied before the damage of the Incinerate, we did land a debuffed Incinerate. Nevertheless, Skeledirge the GOAT. Continuing to be Skeledirge the GOAT, we're going to be able to live a Thunderbolt, make a Disarming Voice, and we're going to make a second Disarming Voice as we live the rollout on next to no HP, and now we're in a really good spot. We can just decide to bring in the Galarian Slowbro here, and when in doubt in this cup, if you have a Galarian Slowbro, just go for the Galarian Slowbro farm. The energy goes absolutely everywhere in this cup. They're going to bring in their Ariados, and Ariados, little bit of a problematic Pokemon. We're going to bring back in the Poniard. They're going to be able to hit us with a lunge, but now they're in range after taking that Incinerate that we can just go for this Night Slash. We are almost at the back-to-back Night Slashes. This looks to be a CMP tie, and if it is, I think my best play is just letting the Poniard go, but instead, actually no, I need this Poniard to take out the Ariados, as the Ariados otherwise would land a permanent debuff onto the Galarian Slowbro, which is really not something we can afford to have happen. So shielding there is absolutely the correct play. They're going to no-shield and now bring in the Miltank. Miltank's going to get taken out with another Night Slash. And now, what do they have in the back that they did not want to see? The Poniard. It's a Galarian Slowbro of their own. And we could have easily committed to getting a Night Slash there. Night Slash, even debuff, does nearly 50% to a Galarian Slowbro. And they are going to be able to fire off a Brutal Swing of their own here, but I'm outside of farm down range for them. So I'm going to be able to make another Brutal Swing here. Don't need to shield quite yet. And we are just in a commanding position. They can go for the farm down, but this farm down does not allow them to make enough Brutal Swings where our Poniard is threatened. This is only going to be 1 Brutal Swing, and even if it was 2, we would win CMP with the Night Slash that we now have banked. They top left. GG's. Poniard now finds itself up against a Medicham once again. We're going to fast move check. Unfortunately, while I was playing these sets for the first day, I did not encounter any counter Medicham. I did encounter a counter Scrafty though, and that wasn't very fun for me, as I fast move checked and lost like 1/8 of my HP to a counter. It felt really bad. And now, we're going to bring in our Skeledirge, and Skeledirge is going to be met with a Talonflame. I am not one to bait in the Skeledirge versus Fire type matchup, but here I am, and now I'm going to fire off this Shadow Ball. Talonflame does have enough energy for a fly here. We're just going to let it go. We're comfortable letting the Skeledirge go down, but Skeledirge lives the fly on 1 HP. Absolutely massive from the Skeledirge. Now getting off the Shadow Ball there, they're forced to shield it up, and now Talonflame is down 2 shields, and a Galarian Slowbro is here to meet it. Honestly, I'm pretty sure this is always just a shield. Yeah, we're just going to shield this up, and now look to... They bring in the Medicham, unfortunately. I was really hoping to just remove that Talonflame from existence. They're going to fire off an Ice Punch. In comes the Poniard, and Poniard, they're not going to throw a Dynamic Punch at the Slowbro, so it's going to be an Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to definitely not do enough damage to the Poniard where we're in any real threat. We're going to fire off a Night Slash here. Night Slash, just barely not enough to KO, but one Fury Cutter there denies them of the move that they had banked. They're going to bring in their Skeledirge, so it's a Medicham double fire strategy, and this is a little bit uncomfortable, but not after landing that Night Slash. In comes the Talonflame to try to snipe us with energy, and this is okay. I don't know why they thought this was the play that they should go for, but now Galarian Slowbro can just build up to nearly the back-to-back Brutal Swings. Brutal Swing number 1 will take out the Talonflame, and when Skeledirge comes back in, it's got a nasty surprise in store for it with Brutal Swing number 2, now getting ready to KO the Skeledirge. GG's to this trainer. In the next game, Poniard is going to find itself onto an Alomomola on lead. I think the best play here is just building up a bunch of energy and switching. I would probably play this out differently in the future because I throw the Night Slash on good timing here, but the Night Slash just doesn't do enough chip damage. The chip damage from the Night Slash, it's going to get shielded by the Alomomola, which is definitely a misplay, and you're going to see me no-shield the Poniard here, and you're probably thinking, why? But that wasn't enough for a Hydro Pump. That was only ever going to be a Psychic, and so we're very comfortable no-shielding the Poniard there. In comes a Skeledirge, and Skeledirge is going to be met with our Galarian Slowbro. Unfortunately, Skeledirges do love to bait Galarian Slowbros with the Disarming Voice, but that's okay. We're going to fire off a Brutal Swing and bait right back because I don't think that was Brutal Swing range, but now I surely hope it is now because I'm firing off yet another Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing onto the Skeledirge, not quite going to be enough to take it out, but you know what? That might just be perfect farm down range for my Skeledirge. I decide against it, and now they're going to bring in their Lickilicky, but Lickilicky is tasked with dealing with all of this Poniard energy. Like I said earlier in the video, Poniard is an absolute menace. When it's up this much energy, it boosts, and now that wasn't enough for an Earthquake. That's only going to be a Body Slam. That's not going to KO the Poniard. Poniard is running away with this game. We get to the back-to-back Night Slashes. I think that rollout that just snuck might be enough to KO the Poniard. Poniard lives on 1 HP. We make another Night Slash, and Poniard is absolutely soloing the Lickilicky. Lickilicky goes down to the Poniard, and now they have 2 Pokemon remaining, but we have a full health Skeledirge. They're going to bring in their Skeledirge, and now it is going to be a race. They don't make the Shadow Ball get incinerated, farm down, and they don't want to play anymore. Who could blame them? If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. And a quick disclaimer before, I'm pretty sure the comment has already been typed. Before somebody types, this dude sees 1 Crocodile and cries himself to sleep. Yes, indeed, this team would see 1 Crocodile and cry itself to sleep. However, with that being said, if you are in an ELO range where Crocodile is not as common as I found in my particular ELO range, while playing this team, I saw 1 Crocodile over 2 days of sets with the team. So about 50 battles, I saw 1 Crocodile. So with that being said, Poniard's pretty strong. If you can keep it away from the Incinerate users, Alomomola does have a pretty good time against it as well. The fighting types and Crocodile. If you can keep it away from all those picks, I honestly think that Poniard is a pretty solid Pokemon for its ability to shut down Galarian Slowbro alone. But it also does more than that. It has a pretty good matchup into the rollout users in Lickilicky and Miltank. If Medicham's on Psycho Cut, it's going to take a massive amount of damage before it's able to land a Dynamic Punch onto the Poniard. This is a pretty interesting and slept-on Pokemon in my opinion. With all that being said, thank you once again so much for watching. I've been Shmeaty. I hope to see you guys again next time, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.